My encounter with the Pale One. Be me back home in Southern Oregon, Jackson County, October 2016. Hanging out with friends one night after work. Friends are J and JR, IMC. We are bored and don't know what to do. I suggest we go to the arena in the woods late at night for some exploration. The arena is field/wooded area used by the two big high schools that rival each other in my hometown. JROTC has war simulations there. We are on the way there going through a road surrounded by dead grassy fields in the middle of the night, probably around 11 p.m. The way there I'm talking about skinwalkers just to spook everyone because they get scared easily. They get spooked and tell me to shut up. We get to the arena entrance. The entry has grass that reaches like 10 feet high, spooky as hell. All we hear is the tires on gravel and Jay turns off the headlights. We feel a weird vibe as soon as we go further. Jay reaches a spot to park. At this point we are under a canopy of trees and in front of us is the woods, to our left is the entry, and to our right is the entry to the field portion of the arena with CQB prop houses. Lights are still off, windows are all down, all we hear is crickets, and some other bugs. Everyone dares me to get out of the car. I get out of the car and walk around for a few minutes, see nothing, look around and I get back in the car. Everyone starts talking about their previous JROTC arena battles. JR interrupts everyone by shushing and telling us to shut the hell up and listen. The crickets are quiet and everything is dead silent, weird vibe hits and everyone starts scanning the surroundings. Jay rolls up all the windows. Jay hits the lights. I look at the woods in front of us and I see it. Pale, sickly, disgusting-looking humanoid creature slowly zigzagging through the woods, coming closer. It gets to the edge of the woods and gets behind the last tree. It's just standing there with one claw or hand gripping the tree and hiding its body while peeking at us. Its eyes are just black pits and there's no eye shine, but when it locked eyes with me it was that moment when I realized I really did have a soul and that thing wanted to take it from me, and it easily could have. All we had for defense was the car, some pocket knives and a can of axe and a lighter. It crept back into the woods after looking at us. I don't know how long we all sat there, but it felt like around 10 minutes and we left immediately. Few nights later we go back. This time I bring a bloody T-bone steak as bait and a handgun. I place the steak on the ground near the edge of the woods and walk backwards to the car. We see nothing after waiting around for a bit and no dark vibe and dead silence either, forget about the whole thing, and hit up some 24/7 Mexican food place called Muchas Gracias, and snag some burritos and horchata. Go back for a third time, steak is gone and there is a stain on the concrete where I placed it. Nothing happened, but this time as we reached the exit to leave we felt the vibe, and he sped out, and we just left, because the vibe hit as we were right in that very cramped spot at the exit. I don't know if that thing is some sort of demon or subterranean humanoid, but what really had me on edge after my encounter, was knowing that during the battle in the arena, while I was laying in thick thorn bushes covered in spiders, stalking the enemy team, I could have actually been the one being stalked by that thing, and not even have realized it. I did have that feeling I was being watched and followed that day, but I didn't catch anyone or anything creeping up on me. I heard that talking about skinwalkers attracts them, but I knew it wasn't a skinwalker. We were way too close to town and nowhere near an Indian reservation. This thing is what's known as a crawler, like from that movie The Descent, or rake creature. I know the rake is some made-up creature, but that's the closest description of it I could come up with, but without that weird metal claw on its hand. Not sure if that was the first official sighting of one in that specific part of Oregon. January 2021, I am no longer in Oregon at this point, haven't been there in 3.5 years. I reconnected with my friend Jay, who was the driver. During a phone call he tells me that he encountered it again in 2020, while he had a friend with him, 2 of the people in the back seat were asleep, since this was late at night. Tells me it was in a grassy field by some trees. They were parked and talking about something when they immediately felt a dark vibe and they looked at the woods in front of them. The pale one was back, and this time it was even closer than last time. It locked eyes with him this time. He told me that when they did he had never felt so much fear in his life. The pale one then started to creep around from side to side as if it was looking for a weak point to attack. As it was circling them, it didn't break eye contact with Jay. Jay couldn't take it anymore, so he hit the gas and sped out of there. Jay and his friends started asking each other if they really saw that thing, and that they need to get the hell away from there. Dude tells Jay that they could all go to his house because he lives close by. Jay says, "Hell no, you live too close to that thing." Jay drops everyone off and dibs. As he wraps up his story, I remind him of our encounter years ago in the arena, and he realizes that the most recent encounter was in the same area. Starts telling me how he has started doing intense research on this cryptid, has become obsessed with it in a way as well. I plan on returning to Oregon in the near future to go looking for that thing. We'll scout the surrounding area. Bonus encounter. Summer of 2011. Be me 12 years old. In car with grandparents. They are both deaf, so they speak sign language. Grandpa wants to go for a drive in the woods, to take me and my siblings' minds off the divorce. We go on the road that heads out of Medford towards White City. We are near Shady Cove at this point. Long drive, lots of tall trees, see a few deer and some roadkill. Siblings are asleep and so is Grandma. Grandpa chillin' and driving. I look out the window the whole time thinking about the divorce and what happens next. Typical broken family BS. Grandpa takes a road that goes upwards into the mountains. We are elevated and I look out the window and look down in the forest below. I see what I think is a mountain lion at the time, but then I realize it's way too damn huge to be a mountain lion. Big cat is the size of a bear and it looks buff as hell. Have been stalked by mountain lions in Oregon before. They were much smaller. Lion has no mane, assume it's female. There is a big cat sanctuary in Oregon, not sure if it's an escaped lion, but why all the way over here in this area? Surely someone would have noticed it escaping and it would have been on the news. Years later, remember the encounter. Realize it may have been an extinct North American lion from the Ice Age. Have heard of others encountering these things in Colorado and Idaho. Attend high school in Medford that has college classes integrated in it instead of military boarding school. Take some outdoor leadership course because professor said it could help get my foot into the door for a career in forestry and possibly help me become a ranger. Class is okay, we go on trips to the outdoors and stuff, snowboarding at Mt. Ashland, visit Crater Lake during a blizzard and walk on top of 15 feet of snow, go rock climbing at Smith Rock, Oregonian stuff. Ask Ranger about Crater Lake's UFO sightings and cryptid sightings and the people who went missing. She laughs it off and says it's nothing to worry about, people get lost all the time. She pulls me aside mid-hike and asks me to help her clear a trail in the snow for the class so it's easier for everyone to get downhill. Follow her. Starts telling me how there's stuff she can't mention or she'll get fired, but tells me to look up some dude named David Paulides, and to look into the Dennis Lloyd Martin case, and to look up some guy on YouTube named Matt Squatch Presents. I do it. Loads of info and stuff I didn't expect. Find out about the clusters of missing people in national parks and the DUMBs, deep underground military bases, underneath every park and the tunnels and the underground cities. Find out about tunnels under Portland. Find out about giant humanoids roaming the deep woods of Oregon and the dogman and different types of Sasquatch. Oregon also has a goatman. There's not much info on it, but it has short horns and was last spotted somewhere in central Oregon. Mount Hood and Crater Lake are the two hot spots for cryptid and alien activity. Weird stuff also goes on near some place called Dead Indian. Anyway, fast forward. 2017 White City, Oregon. Hanging out with Jay again and his cousin A. A introduces us to two hunter buddies. We all go to some random location in the woods somewhere near White City after hitting the Minute Market. We park in some spot on the side of the road and decide to do some exploring. Accidentally stumble onto a farm and we back out. Head back to parking spot. In front of us is the road and behind the road there is a grassy field with a few cows far off to the side. Directly in front far ahead is tree line and small mountain/hill. I see a big red light over the mountain, assume it's a plane or helicopter. Light disappears, think nothing of it. Hunters start talking about the time they were hunting at night near Dead Indian. Talk about how they were in the woods, and everything went dead quiet mid-hunt, and they heard some lady scream, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, I'm sorry, please no, don't do it," and then heard her screams of death. We all assume someone murdered their cheating wife or something. I look back at the mountain. The light is back, but this time it's moving upwards and then descending slowly. We all look. I can see the outline of a huge ship and it seemed like the light was just tiny in comparison. We hear some weird noise and everyone decides it's time to go. Light follows us for a while. We hit muchas gracias and get burritos and horchata again. Can't sleep that night, stayed up till 4 a.m. Finally knock out, have nightmare about being abducted by aliens. Fast forward. 2020, find the threads about the human hunters in Oregon. Remember the story hunters told me back in White City. Start to wonder if they stumbled into one of the events or something. Start thinking they left out some details. Their story did sound pretty sketchy looking back. Oregon has a large homeless population, that was brought in by a cult that took over the town of Antelope. When they were done using the homeless, they bust them out and left them in surrounding areas and other cities in Oregon. A lot of homeless decided to live in the woods or travel to Portland. Wonder if the homeless were being snatched up and used for the human hunts. There was a guy in Oregon years ago, dressed in full kit, running around in some forest. He had wore tiger stripe camo and carried an AR. He shot at someone, but the guy he shot at wasn't hit. He was probably one of the hunters participating in one of those events. Rewind. 2011. Parents are getting divorced. Sisters are with my mom and I'm with my dad. Dad takes me for a hike in some woods in Grants Pass. We are deep in the woods and kinda lost. Ferns and trees all over the place covered in spider webs. Start feeling anxious. See spiders everywhere the size of tarantulas. Look like gray wolf spiders. At some point we see the ferns moving rapidly and a spider the size of a chihuahua runs across our path. Greater than 12 years old me is scared shitless, obviously, shittin' bricks at the sight of this. Dad grabs me by shoulder and we start backing up quickly but quietly so we don't attract the attention of another one. Thinking it's running away from something bigger, we turn around and head back the way we came from. Find our way back to the trail and get back to the big green van he bought when I was born. Sit in the van. Dad tells me it was just a baby bear and we don't want to run into Mama Bear. What bear has 8 legs? Dad, did you think I was retarded? We go out to eat at some restaurant by the river. I guess the giant spiders are also in North America and not just Vietnam and the Amazon. I have heard of people encountering gnomes in Oregon as well. Oregon Central Point 2016 again. Bored at night, nothing to do. We park at the memorial. We sit there talking about that movie I Am Legend. I notice something white in the distance. Looks like a man in white Navy ceremonial dress uniform. He's floating mid-air and look like he's spinning around dancing or something. Realize he's in the cemetery across the field from us. we are in parking lot by restrooms, realize he's a ghost because he's floating. We watch him. Disappears. I get out of car and walk towards the field that separates us from the cemetery. Dead silent. JR gets out of car and stands next to me. Start talking about ghost. Get back in car and we try to head into the cemetery. Gates closed. We go to muchas gracias. Everyone goes home. My first ghost sighting, not very exciting I know. Okay, I'm back. Oregon 2010. Kayaking with cousins and uncle in some river. First time in kayak. Kayak flips and I'm underwater, think I'm going to drown again, have been forcefully baptized by my cousins before and think it's them again. While underwater I open my eyes, water is a bit foamy in some spots but clear enough to see at least 6 feet in front of me. See 2 small aquatic animals that resemble baby Loch Ness monsters, probably about 4 feet long, and they zoom past me as I'm trying to flip myself back up. Later find out there's some lake monster in Wallowa that resembles Nessie. Not sure if there are more in different lakes/rivers in Oregon. Done kayaking, eat sandwich uncle packed, great sandwich he used Dave's Killer Bread, deli fresh turkey, pepper, mayo, and Colby Jack cheese. Sandwich was so good I forgot to mention what I saw. Didn't fully read the thread, but here are some pictures I took in the mid-European mountains of some pale figure which must be several meters tall to be spotted that far away. Was also located on a part of a mountain you can't reach by foot.